and an attaché case. Items belonging to one of their clients, Gordon Lonsdale. Lonsdale, the Canadian businessman, had recently been placed under observation by the security service because he was suspected of being a Soviet spy. Just over a fortnight before, Lonsdale had been seen by MI5's watchers to enter the bank and deposit an attaché case, a briefcase and a deed box, telling the branch that he was leaving shortly for Canada and would return on the 26th of September. The security service could find no trace of Lonsdale departing afterwards from Britain, by land, sea or air. He had quite simply vanished. Lonsdale's absence was providential for MI5. Clearly the items he had deposited at the bank were of value, and, if examined covertly, could provide crucial information about his activities. This was a heaven-sent opportunity to discover more about him. It was, however, perilous. No one knew exactly how long Lonsdale might be abroad. Although he said he'd be absent for 4 weeks or so, he might return at any moment, and it was paramount that there should be no indication at all that his belongings had been searched. There was a risk it might all go horribly wrong. Lonsdale might spot some telltale clue of MI5's undercover work and instantly be gone. MI5 were nervous, from the officers and technicians who would carry out the top-secret operation to the very apex of the service, Roger Hollis, the Director General, who would be in the firing line if it went awry. MI5 had done their utmost to limit the risk. At their behest, the head civil servant of Her Majesty's Treasury had obtained formal approval for the operation from the chairman of the Midland Bank. MI5 had made preparations in the greatest secrecy, including the recruitment of an expert remover-putter-back from the UK's Foreign Intelligence Service, MI6. The operation was of dubious legality, even in the Cold War Britain of 1960, when no intelligence agency officially existed, and oversight was largely informal and based on mutual trust. Carefully guarded by the branch manager and the bank inspector, the items deposited by Lonsdale were driven to the secret MI5 laboratory at St. Paul's, 2 miles to the west. Still blinking with amazement, as though woken from a dream, the manager and inspector were greeted there by a clutch of security service men. The paper parcel was photographed and painstakingly unwrapped. Inside were a brown leather briefcase and a small metal deed box. A towering man called Jagger stepped forward, dressed in a black undertaker's suit and with shoulders as wide as an armchair. A former sergeant major in the Rifle Brigade, Jagger was the security service's factotum. His particular speciality was picking locks. He set to work, caressing the locks with his skeleton keys. For a tall man, his hands were surprisingly delicate, and within a few minutes both items were open, and their contents laid out on trestle tables under the unforgiving fluorescent lights. At 3:45 p.m., the door to the laboratory swung open. An elegant man of middle height in a pinstripe suit strode in and hung up his bowler hat. He was Charles Elwell, aged 41, the MI5 case officer in charge of the Lonsdale investigation. Elwell nodded to his colleagues, watched Jagger for a few moments labouring to open the attaché case, and turned to scrutinize the documents from the briefcase arranged on a table nearby. Bright desk lamps were positioned. As the unpacking continued, notes were scribbled. Cameras clicked incessantly as numerous photographs were taken at all stages of the search to ensure the security service possessed a comprehensive record of any discoveries and how they were packed. Most of the documents concerned Lonsdale's business affairs, and especially his bankrupt jukebox business. There was some private correspondence, including love letters, and 2 books, Contract Bridge Made Easy and Touch Typing in 10 Lessons. When a narrow beam of light was shone across some of the pages of the books, and they were examined under a magnifier, there were excited murmurs. Indentations were visible, made by someone when writing figures on a piece of paper placed on the page. These were photographed to see if the marks could be deciphered later. Jagger's gloved hands feathered various keys in the 2 special 5-lever locks of the Skyline attaché case. The locks clicked open. Gingerly, one by one.